everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio Music. I'm Pam, your host, and it's a chilly, chilly day in Chicago, so I'm hoping my LA guests are going to bring me some warmth through the phone.
We'll do our best.
Well, let me announce to our listeners who you are so they don't think I'm just talking to some random people. I have the singing-songwriting duo Dauzat St.Marie, and joining me is Heather St.Marie and Matt Dauzat. And I hope I'm saying that correctly because I looked at your little thing on Facebook how to say it. So did I hit it right? Guys, are you still with me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was asking if I said the name right.
I don't guess you can hear Matt, can you?
Hello?
Can you hear Matt?
No. Matt, I have him on. Matt, can you call right back? Maybe it's
I
the
think
connection.
that's what he's going to do. Yeah,
okay,
because he's answering you.
He is? Oh,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I hear him thinking you guys aren't hearing me. Okay.
Technology's always weird when you need it to work, right?
Live radio, and let me tell you, if there's something that's going to go technically wrong, it's always happening to me, especially on Monday. So I always assume that I'm going to get a break on Wednesday, but no. It started from the get-go when I called in, and it wouldn't accept my PIN number, and you put it in, and you put it in, that kind of thing. So, yeah, the joy and the fun.
Exactly.
So, yes.
But when it works, you're out in Chicago. We're here in California. Your listeners are all over, so.
I know.
Yeah.
Matt, are you there?
Hey.
Yay, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah.
Now
weird.
we got a party.
I can hear everybody fine, and then I guess y'all didn't hear me. I was a ghost.
Yeah.
It happened.
Oh, well, sorry about that, but I'm glad we got it all straightened out. So let's just go ahead and dive in. And what I'd like to do with all of my guests is have them give me just a wee bit of background on themselves from when they were younger and when did that interest in music start for you. So either one of you, Heather, you want to go first? Ladies first?
Sure. I'll go first. I think Matt's story is a little more interesting anyway, so we'll save the best for last. But, I've just been singing for fun as long as I can remember. My mom tells stories that, she's driving and I'm little in the car seat in the back, and she'd just play this game with me. Heather, sing with me, match the note. And, I guess it just kind of was always a part of my life. But I've got a really deep voice, and I come from a really small town. And it was funny because when I was probably maybe 10 or 11, and I said, I think I want to take singing lessons. And so I went to the local singing teacher, and she said, honey, your voice is too low. You're never going to be a singer. God bless her, Yeah, well, she just thought, the traditional female voice, I certainly don't have it, And so I said, oh, all right then, and just kind of kept singing anyway, just for fun, because I loved it so much. Mm-hmm. And our school ran out of money, and we had to do a talent show to kind of raise money with the community, and everybody had to, do something. And so I said, well, I went to the jazz band and said, here, can you guys learn this song? It's kind of fun. I like to sing it. And they're like, all right. And I was so naive. I never rehearsed with them or anything. I just assumed, well, they'll know the song. Got out there on the stage and looked out, and it was 2,000 people. And I was so terrified. But that was my introduction to singing in public. And after I got over that shock, I loved it. It went off without a hitch, and, it was great. And so later on, a year later or so, I got up to college and found out this guy was trying to put a band together, and he was in high school, and it was Matt. And so we kind of just been performing ever since.
Wow. I'm so glad that you kept on with the singing because, we look up to adults. We look up to our parents, and we look up to our teachers and that to lead us the right way and tell us the truth. But sometimes their truth just isn't right, isn't that the it worked out for you?
Yeah, you start putting rules on things, and just like, well, this is what's supposed to be. in music and art, to me, it's just like, why not buck the system, And I was fortunate enough to meet a guy who was a male soprano, and he sang in operas and stuff.
Well,
and
sure,
yeah, and that's what kind of got me thinking, like, well, if he can do it, I'll just keep going. It's just so much fun. Why not?
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank God for that. Matt, go ahead. Your turn.
Well, I guess I've always known this, like my earliest memory is that I wanted to be a musician, especially a guitar player. And, but I've always been, I've always had like a good ear. I taught myself piano when I was like still in diapers, and started writing music when I was really little, and not from a musical family at all. And so I don't know why, but I was always kind of like afraid to ask for a guitar for Christmas. So, that's all I want to do. All I want to do is play guitar. And then one day I was playing around in my family's attic and found an old acoustic guitar that was my brother's. They got a guitar and it didn't stick with it. So I went up in the attic, and an attic in Louisiana gets really hot. It's really humid, and that thing was just wrecked. But I picked it up and immediately started playing songs and freaked my brothers out. I have older brothers, like 10 years older than me, and I grew up listening to their music. And so, I picked up this guitar for the first time and started, like, riffing around playing Led Zeppelin riffs. And they're like, what is going on? So, I immediately, from there on, I was glued to the instrument. I taught myself guitar on that ratty guitar. And so when I finally got a good guitar, all of a sudden I was flying up and down the scale.
Oh, my gosh, I can imagine.
But, yeah, that was good. I had, like, a band in high school, and I came from also kind of a small town, and it was, difficult to put a band together, and lucked out when I went to college. I was able to find some other musicians and found Heather, and we hit it off and started working, and guess we've been doing it ever since. We kind of started off as an acoustic duo because we didn't have a band, and we did some shows around town, but the ultimate goal was to put together a band, which we did, and we did a lot with that band, and the band's still going, but now we've kind of come full circle, and the new focus is this duo, so it's kind of neat to come full circle back to where we began.
Well, yeah, I was reading about that you guys were Hydro Vibe first?
Yep, that's the band, yeah.
Okay. So why did you decide to change over to your last names? Because you changed the band, sort of?
It's a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
So we have Hydro Vibe, and Hydro Vibe's been, a touring machine for some years. I actually kind of got busy as a songwriter and producer for some other artists, and that kind of slowed down some of the touring. The gas prices kind of slowed down a little bit of the touring, and Heather and I were not satisfied with. We love to tour, and so we're like, let's also work on putting together, because she and I, we write all the time, and it wasn't always appropriate for the songs weren't always appropriate for Hydro Vibe. So we had a catalog of stuff, and we're like, let's put together this duo project, something completely different than Hydro Vibe, because Hydro Vibe's a crazy, energetic, loud rock thing, and we wanted to do something where there's just the two of us, no band, and it just it's challenging, and that way we could supplement some touring when Hydro Vibe, in between Hydro Vibe tours. So we did that. We went out on one tour, and to our surprise, for some reason, I guess there was so much excitement around that tour that all of a sudden we got booked up, but we were out on the road like all of last year. We didn't really plan that. We just started getting booked. We got 9 festivals, and just things started to happen. And so, it was clear that then Dauzat St.Marie, the duo, would be the focus.
Yeah, you did 6 tours across the U.S. last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now, how do you mentally and physically prepare yourself for doing a tour, let alone 6 of them?
You don't think about it.
Yeah. We kind of got thrown into the, like they say, you learn to swim by getting thrown in the deep end. That's kind of what happened to us with Hydra Vibe. To backtrack a little bit, we were working in the studio, and then one of our songs was put on the Saw 3 movie and in the soundtrack and everything. And so, we had to hurry up and capitalize. Mail Edge magazine said, hey, guys, we want you to come out on this tour. It's 3 weeks. All right, we can do it. Stopped what we were doing and packed up. And like Gilligan, we thought we were on a 3-week tour. And we ended up being out for like 9 months. Yeah, I mean, it snowballed. And, I think we were just kind of thrown into it and fell in love with that lifestyle. You get to meet people, see the country, see a lot of different cultures, and, make a lot of great friends on the way. And it's just kind of become a part of our life. So with this, it's the 2 of us, it's lean and mean, and we can just take off and go wherever we want. And we just love it so much. It's kind of, to be honest, when we come home to L.A., after about a week or 2, it's kind of like I start to feel antsy again. Maybe it's time to start booking the next tour.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's definitely in your guys' blood. It's your passion. You can tell that. I mean, if you're raring to go after all that touring and music and everything, you're never going to stop.
It is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It is definitely not for everybody, but we love it. And so we'll definitely continue. This should be another very busy year for us.
Well, one thing I want to mention for our listeners, the song that was on Saw 3 is Killer Inside. Now, how did that come about? I mean, how did they choose that song, and you guys watched that movie?
We did watch the first 2. A good friend of ours is in all of them, and that's kind of how we got introduced to it. And she was a big fan of ours and brought the director out to some shows. So for Saw 2, we actually had a song up until the release. It was on the end credits. And then, politics and stuff got involved, and, we ended up getting bumped for someone else. So the director said, well, look, for Saw 3, we definitely want to use you guys. So what they actually did was gave us a synopsis while they were filming about our friend's character and the development of her character in the movie, and asked us to write a song specifically for that whole storyline. And so that's how Killer Inside came about, because that's the one where she becomes a killer. You see, in the first one, she's the victim, and then in the third one, she's actually the killer. So it's kind of cool, but we got to write it for her character. And for us, it kind of has dual meaning. Killer Inside, it's kind of like, on those times, like when you're out on the road for 9 months, how do you find it in you to keep going? Because there are days where it gets tough, and you're tired or just beat down. Or, in anyone's life, we all go through that, and that's kind of for us what that means, is to find that strength inside you to just keep fighting and to keep going. And that's that killer inside of you. It's kind of dual meaning.
Definitely. Now, I have not watched any of the Saw movies, unfortunately, because they're not my kind of movie.
they're pretty brutal.
Yeah. I'm not into that. I like suspense, but thriller, cut 'em up, chop 'em up, not my cup of tea. So, but I'm happy for you guys.
I love the concept. It's smart. But yeah, normally I don't really gravitate towards the gore, and it's funny. So yeah, our friend that Heather was mentioning, Shawnee Smith, she was in all the movies, and that's the reason we saw them. We went with her to the premieres and stuff, and she. It's funny. I have a big phobia about needles. Like, it's bad, and so I think it was Saw 3, right? Because so Saw 3 with our song in there. We went with her to the premiere in Hollywood. We're watching the thing, and she kind of had to hold my hand and let me know when the scene was where she falls into a pit of hypodermic needles, and she stands up and they're just hanging off her body, and I'm just like freaking out. It's like the worst thing that I could ever imagine.
I bet you slept with the lights on.
Yeah, it was tough. Well, she kind of helped me, let me know when it was coming up, and plus we saw picture books, so and she had some of these fake hypodermic needles at her house, so I saw them, so that kind of helped out. But still, that's a little rough.
Yeah. Well, that's me with The Exorcist. I saw that movie when I was younger, and to this day, I can't get her face out of my head, so I can't watch anything. Like when they came out with Exorcist 2 and they were doing all those promoting things and trailers and whatever, I would be like, oh, click, change the channel, or get off that page, on the internet or something, because it just brings that all back to me. And to this day, I mean, and when I was only kidding with you in a way about sleeping with the lights on, but to this day, I cannot sleep without having the TV on. And I mean, you can barely hear the sound, but I can't sleep without it.
Well, that genre in general, it has, I think it's almost a love-hate, because we've seen it out on the road. We see a lot of the Saw fans, and they're just like ravenous Saw fans, like and they love like all that horror, that sort of thing. You don't see a lot of people that are like on the fence. There are people like you that are like, nope,
nope,
not into it at all. It's pretty funny.
Even if my best friend or my son or daughter was in something like that, I just don't think I could watch it. But kudos to you people that can do it. So
I appreciate the fans of that genre, because it's fun to see. They're really big fans, and they're collectors of like memorabilia, and so it's been cool. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have been really in touch with those types of fans, I don't think, as much.
Right.
So
they definitely bring more fans to you, for sure, when you do
it's really cool.
Movies and TV
they're loyal.
shows. Mm-hmm.
Very loyal in every way. It's been very good.
They're like soap opera fans, because when one of our favorites leave one of our soaps, we follow their journey to whatever their next thing is, and we don't ever leave them. So, and that's how sci-fi and thriller and Comic-Con kind of people are. So, yeah, that's definitely true. Very, very loyal, and that's a good thing.
It's interesting to see, and watch. There's these little circuits, and it's interesting. It's cool to be like on the outside, but still kind of in those little pockets. It's cool.
Definitely. Now, you both are from Louisiana, or did I read that correctly?
Yep, we are.
So how did you both end up in L.A.?
Music. It got to a point with our band. We had gotten a lot of regional success and had done some touring in the Midwest and the South. And, the next step to take it further was either going to be New York or L.A. And, we're both we love the city, but we're both from small towns, and New York just seemed a little bit too overwhelming a jump, And so we had been coming out to California to play shows, so we kind of had a base here. We knew people. We were familiar with it. So when the time came, we just said, yeah, let's go.
And the weather's definitely better.
Yeah, right.
The weather's better. Is it pretty bad over there in Chicago right now?
Yeah, like right now it's probably 20 degrees, but in the summertime we get the humidity, whereas in California you guys don't. But I've been to New Orleans in April one time. Me and my husband went, and oh my gosh, your humidity is like 10 times worse than ours in Chicago, and I thought ours was bad.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pretty rough.
It's very humid, and it gets very hot there. Heather's from south of there. Heather's from like about as far south as you can go. She's very Cajun.
Right on the water. Right on the Gulf.
I'm from about as far north as you can go, and they're very different. Louisiana is definitely split. It's a very different world up north than it is down south.
Oh, okay.
Culturally and everything. I mean, they're very different.
But yet you guys still met up, and you're both the same, mind-wise on your music and everything that you want to do. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's wonderful. Now, when you guys were in when you moved to California, Matt, you ended up performing or playing guitar with Kelly Osbourne's band. How did that come about? I mean, a world tour. Hello.
Yeah, crazy. Well, so Heather and I had, we had the band in Louisiana, and we were just kids. We had I was living at home and had a decent job, so I was making money, and I just spent all of it on the band. I didn't really save any money. So what we would do is, just because we wanted to and we could, we would every, a couple of months or so, we would come out to, we would make the drive out to Hollywood to play shows. And we were playing one night at the Whiskey, and some guys from Limp Bizkit, I believe, came to the show, and I guess remembered me, because at the time I had short, black, spiky hair with a goatee and kind of looked like their guitar player. And
yeah.
And so whenever the guitar player left, they did like a big search to find a guitar player, and they hired a guy in Hollywood that pretty much puts all the bands together. And they hired him to find, a guitar player. And so he I think they had mentioned me, that he called me in Louisiana and linked me up with the band. And, they flew me out to audition. And I was never really a big fan of the band, but I was kind of pushed to do it. And my parents were like, it's an opportunity, you got to go.
Right.
So I was like, all right, cool, free trip to Hollywood, let's go. And came out here, and the management messed up and gave the band the weekend off. And so I didn't even get to meet the band, didn't get to audition, went back home. They called me back and like, hey, really sorry, let's do it again, come fly out. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really that interested. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Don't worry about it. So but the guy they hired didn't quite understand, I think, that, you've got L.A. and then Louisiana, abbreviation is L.A. He didn't quite understand that I didn't live in L.A. So he would call me every, couple of weeks or something. Like, hey, I've got Macy Gray audition at SIR in Hollywood in 2 days, come pick up the music. I'm like, hey, actually I can't, I'm not there, I can't make it there. And this went on for some time. And then Heather and I decided to move. When we finally decided to move out to L.A., he was like the first person I called. I was like, hey, whatever you got, going on, I'll come down and audition. Really just to kind of meet him, and I'll, show him what I do. And he's like, cool. It was a Monday, and when I called him, and he's like, cool, I got Kelly Osbourne on Thursday. And so I went down and auditioned, and I guess, was on the Osbournes by Friday. So,
wow.
My first show in L.A. was the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and that night we flew to London, and we did we did a big world tour. I guess our first run over there was with Robbie Williams, so it was like, then I'm playing shows, no show less than 75,000 people.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That must have
Pretty
been
big.
like a surreal moment for you.
Yes. So it's funny. Sorry about the long story, but it's
no, that's
it's
okay.
all
I asked.
It's funny because like a lot of people that when that happened, they're like, oh man, so lucky. And I'm like, well, I guess, but I mean, we put in a lot of mileage just to get in front of the right people, and it was a long time coming. We did a lot of work. Luck had something to do with it, but, there's really no such thing as an overnight success, You show me an overnight success, and I'll show you 10 years of work it took them to get there,
Right. Right. That's so true. A lot of people don't think about that when they're listening to a song on the radio and it's huge, and they're thinking, oh, my gosh, I never heard of these people before. I love this band. They must have just discovered them on, America's Got Talent or something, and there they are. They don't think about the background.
Really happen. Yeah. People aren't just like discovered in their, singing in their bedroom and all of a sudden they're on the big stage. That doesn't really happen. There's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, especially now, I mean, the industry's changed since, my time with Kelly Osbourne. That's been 10 years. The industry has changed so much since then. It's been interesting. We just kind of have been navigating our way through it as best as possible. But it's interesting times right now, for sure.
Well, what did you learn from doing that tour with Kelly that you brought back and spoke with Heather about and said, hey, we got to do this or we don't do this?
Well, I guess, touring on a huge level, I definitely learned a lot about that. I guess in my mind, I'm always kind of like bringing it back to my own endeavors. How can I apply this to what, Heather and I do? And so we definitely learned a lot. We gained a lot of connection. The Osbornes are awesome family, and they treated us like family and, brought us in. And so we were invited to, events. I mean, all of a sudden, Heather and I were able to go to Ozzy and Sharon's when they redid their wedding vows and Sharon's 50th birthday,
I'm
Kelly's
beyond
18th
jealous
birthday in
of you
Vegas.
guys right now.
We got to
it
do
was
all
very
that.
surreal times.
Yeah, so, obviously those experiences, that's been good, and connections made, that's been good. I guess I learned a lot about tour economics, and, I saw a lot of money being spent on the big tours, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I could cut money there, and I'm always thinking about these things, how I could streamline and revise processes to do better, and it's always, everything's a learning process. What I learned then may not be totally applicable today. It's just a different time.
Right.
I think everybody's just feeling their way around, trying to figure out how to make, an honest living in the music biz.
Exactly.
And it's tough.
Well, who are your musical inspirations, each of you?
Ooh, definitely Freddie Mercury for me. I mean, he is just the best ever, right?
Definitely,
yeah. Strong females, like Stevie Nicks, Hart, those kind of women with powerful voices. Then I'm pulling from my heavier side. I love Pantera, Louisiana, Texas band. So it's all over the place, honestly. But any kind of a big, epic vocal just nails me every time. I love it.
Yeah, I was just watching Annie Lennox on The Talk. Speaking of, Mrs. O is on there as one of the hosts, and Annie Lennox, I mean, my gosh, she's still got it, and she'll forever have it. She's one of the best.
Yeah. We actually, sometimes we'll play around and throw in interesting, I'm hesitant to call them covers because we try to take them and make them our own song. Completely redo the format and stuff. So we'll do Here Comes the Rain. We do a lot of interesting ones. I love her, too, definitely.
And, Matt, who are your musical inspirations?
Well, like I said, growing up, I have brothers that are 10 and 11 years older than me, so I grew up listening to their records. So classic rock was what I listened to growing up, and I think Boston was actually really influential on me.
Love them.
Because, I haven't really, I never really realized it until recent years that I'm pretty sure that was influential, because I listened to some of the stuff. I'm like, man, I kind of do that sometimes in my writing, and just all the harmonies, the vocal harmonies, the guitar harmonies, and songwriting. So I think that's a huge one for me. Obviously, Ozzy and Sabbath. Those were big for me, and Zeppelin. Then I guess fast forwarding from there, I think Heather and I both can agree Alice in Chains was a big one for us. If you think about that and listen to some Hydra Vibe, you'll hear a lot of those influences with the heavier guitar riffs, but very melodic and, melodic vocals with the harmonies. So that one's big. And then random ones, Jim Croce. I really love
another good one,
Jim Croce. Yeah.
Yep.
Just the songwriting and just everything about Jim Croce I love. Elton John, actually.
Really?
Like his
that
early, I love his early stuff. I love Elton John's earlier stuff when he was wearing very big sunglasses and just going for it. Love it. love it. I actually got to sit on the stage when he sound checked for American Music Awards. Heather was with me. I played with Kelly on the American Music Awards. And so I got that experience. That was awesome. I can't think of, it changes. It changes all the time. I'm really loving, right now, Sia. I think she's an amazing writer. So, coming from a songwriter perspective, I'm loving, stuff she's putting out. So
when you guys write your songs, do you write together, or does one write a song and another one write a song, or is it a little bit of both?
Every song's different. It just depends. These days, we are writing more together, but that's because we're both in town more. We have written, when I was on tour with, Kelly or Skylar Fisk or whoever, Heather and I would write remotely. I'd come up with something in the hotel room, record it, send it her way. She'd come up with something, send it my way, and we'd do it that way. And but I guess more recently we've been writing together, which is way better. I love it all, but it's better to be in the room with the artist for me.
Right.
Well, thank God for technology these days. Otherwise, you'd have to wait until you got home to show her what you wrote, or vice versa.
We probably never write.
I guess at the time, maybe at the time too, Skype wasn't really where it is now, and there was definitely no FaceTime at the time. So, we didn't really use those mediums. I'm doing that now with other artists when I write with who are like overseas or whatever. I do Skype or whatever, and it's great. It works. It's not the same as being in the same room. There's just kind of an energy, I think, that you can't quite reproduce.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
You feed off of each other.
It's always better to be together. But I do know that I have interviewed bands that are spread out across the world. I mean, one guy lived in Sweden, the other guy lived in Texas, the other guy lived here, and the other guy lived there, and yet they put a full album together, never being in the same room. How amazing is that?
Never done it. I've never done to that extent, but I really want to. I think it'd be cool. I just want to see what would happen. But, I have a lot of things that I want to do that don't get done because I have a lot of things that I have to do. But that's on the list. I've got an ever-growing list.
I'm sure. Well, tell us more about your debut EP, Falling Again. How did that come together? How did you guys choose the songs that went on it?
Choosing the songs, I guess those were the ones that were in their most complete form. And I say that because they still, evolve. Like when you come to see us live, you might hear a slightly different version than you would on this CD. But we knew we needed to put something out. People waited and waited, when we announced that we were going to do this acoustic. And then we started getting all these festivals, and it was like, we have to have something, which is why we did an EP instead of a full-length album. It takes just so much longer to do an album. And those were the songs that were in their most complete form and the ones that we thought were best portrayed what this band is all about. It's still got the soulful edginess like in Sinking Down when I'm just wailing, but it's also very delicate, like Falling Again. It's got the word that comes to mind would be naked. It's just very stripped down and just us. Not that Hydra Vibe had all the smoke and mirrors, but you've got, a bass player and a drummer, and the show's got the lights, and it's overwhelming. And this is just absolutely the two of us and a guitar, and that's pedals. That's it. And so it's very honest and very real and very stripped down and naked. And that's kind of what this whole band's about. There's no hiding behind anything. You hear everything up there. If my voice cracks, it cracks. Not that it does often, but, it's just purity of the music and the two voices. And that's what I love about it. It's what's challenging about it. And I think these songs kind of give you that full life spectrum of what this is about.
Yeah, and
I think,
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I absolutely love when a solo artist or a band does music acoustically, in concert or at a small gig or something, because to me it shows their true talent. Like you said, there's no smoke and mirrors. It's just you guys and the guitar and that's it. I love that.
it was definitely scary at first. We definitely, Heather and I guess we've always kind of flown by the seat of our pants. Dauzat St.Marie has been in the making for how long, Heather? I mean, how many years we talked about doing this?
A very, very long time. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna launch it this year. We're gonna have music put out, but then we just keep writing. I mean, it's like, well, but I don't know if we have enough songs. I'm not ready, and just like there was a lot of kind of doubt going on, because we both our whole careers have been mostly rock. So that's what we know, and this is way out of our comfort zone, which I'm a firm believer that you should get out of your comfort zone whenever you can. But I think that we kind of, it was kind of convenient to like put it off, and I got to give props to one of my artists, Connie Lim. I produced her record, and she had a record release. I guess it was last January, and she offered us a spot to play main support for her record release show at the Hotel Cafe in Hollywood, and we just accepted, and that was going to be, Heather and I talked about it. We decided, whenever we finally had a debut in Hollywood, the very last place we want to do it is the Hotel Cafe, because it's like the premier venue here for singer-songwriters. It's like world famous, and there's a lot of prestige and a lot of pressure that would go along with that. And so we said, what, we want to play shows around Hollywood, try to stay out of Hollywood at first, and then work our way in and finally work up to the Hotel Cafe. Well, that's not how it happened. We got offered this spot. We couldn't say no because it was it's a great opportunity. So we said, all right, we're going to do it. And then we accepted, and we're like, oh crap, what have we done? So now we got to get the show ready. So it really kind of was a kick in the butt we needed to finally step out there and do it, and we needed that. And so, kind of, it's like Heather was saying, this Dauzat St.Marie is paralleling Hydra Vibe, in that we got some surprise kick in the butt, and we had to hurry up and get our stuff together. And like Hydra Vibe did package up that EP. We took the best songs that we had, thought, here's the best 5. That's our first foot forward. That's exactly what Dauzat St.Marie's doing. And so it's kind of paralleling that, and that's working out well. We did that show obviously in Hollywood, and we were certainly. I mean, we were sweating bullets, and we don't get nervous. We've clocked in I don't know how many shows under our belt. It's because we've done so much touring. We got up there. There's a small club. It's like 175, but we were sweating bullets. But after song 1, you always know when you have the crowd. And after song 1, we knew that we got them. This is awesome. So, but song 1, I was sweating bullets. I know Heather was. And
yeah.
So we have Connie Lim to thank for that. And once we did that, then it was like, all right, we got that. That's done. Let's go. Let's take it on the road. And then I guess continuing to fly by the seat of our pants since.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank God for her. Yeah. I love that story. Now, you guys also worked with Ryan Greene, producer Ryan Greene, for your EP. How did you meet him, and what was it like working with him?
Heather, do you remember how we met him, or just, I'm not sure.
He just appeared in my life, No.
Yeah, he appeared in your life at the right time sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess, so I've had a studio in North Hollywood, been there for, since right when we moved here, the first thing I did was got a studio. Second thing I did was got an apartment. I figure studio is more important. I can live there if I have to.
Yeah.
So I've been there for as long as I've been here, 2002. And Ryan moved next door to me. He was moving back to LA from Phoenix, and so he moved into the studio right next door to me. I think we hit it off immediately, like we'd known each other forever, and started working together. And he and I actually, he helped me with Connie. I produced it. He was kind of like the overseer producer because I really wanted him on it, and he mixed it. I get him to mix everything I produce if I can.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy what he does, and it's nice to hand it to him because I know it's going to be handled the way that I would have liked, but done in a different way. If I'm mixing it, it takes me forever, number one. Whereas he can do it really quickly, and I get too involved, and so it's nice to step away.
It's real personal to you. I mean, that's your baby, so yeah, you do need a third ear sometimes.
Well, especially with the Dauzat St.Marie EP, that's the hardest thing I've ever had to produce because there was no sonic precedent. There was, we had nothing recorded up to that point. So what does Dauzat St.Marie sound like? I don't really know how much production prudence. I don't know. It's kind of, it was really tough. And so we kept Ryan really close at every step of the way. And just kind of, we would record a song. I would, do my thing, get it to a state where we were okay with somebody listening, and bring him in. And he would listen to it and kind of let us know if we're on the right track, make suggestions. So he definitely helped me with this thing. And Heather and I were just kind of hammering away until we figured out what Dauzat St.Marie sounded like. And that's what you have there. But yeah, Ryan mixed it and did an awesome job. And he's been a really good friend and supporter. And I guess we'll see him Friday night. We got a CD release show here in Hollywood, back at the Hotel Cafe Friday night. So we'll see him there.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that on your website, 10 p.m. Pacific time, and I would imagine anybody that lives out that way knows the address.
Yep.
So that's on the 13th. Hey, guys, that's February 13th, Friday the 13th. Hello.
Friday the 13th.
Yep. Sure is.
That's going to be cool. It's cool that we've been pretty much out for a whole year on tour, and it's cool to come home and have a CD release show. So it's going to be fun. And we really love that venue. It has the right vibe, the right sound, and it's going to be a great night.
Well, between the two of you, who is the perfectionist?
Ooh.
I love asking that question.
Who gets accused more, Heather? I would go with that.
What's that?
Who gets accused of it more? I guess I would go with that.
I don't know. I mean, we both have our own quirks, and we both are perfectionists in our own little roles. I deal with the merch and fans, and that's doing all the PR and dealing with the business side of things. And I think we both are perfectionists equally.
For sure, I get accused of it. I would say more.
Yeah.
Well, fans aren't accuse me of that.
Yeah,
sure.
I work with a lot of artists. I produce artists, and anybody that works with me, I guess, would probably say that I'm very nitpicky. But I don't know. I just hear it a certain way, and I'm reasonable. But it's I definitely work my artist. I apologize, guys.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, I can understand sometimes people would be like, "Are you kidding me? You want us to do this for the 52nd time? Come on."
Yes.
Right.
Actually, I do. I do want you to do it for the 52nd time. Heather's used to it by now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, but I think it's a blessing and a curse, you know.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna, at least, you know, I'm gonna hammer away at it until I think it's perfect. However,
right.
you know, especially with our own stuff, it's tough to know when to let go. You know, at some point it's like, well, you know, is that one little sound, is that going to make it a hit song? Probably not. Is that going to sell any more records? Probably not.
Well, even on a day-to-day, like, you know, everybody keeps telling us, you guys have to put more video up on, you know, your website and on YouTube, and we have none, really, other than what fans have put up, because we're both perfectionists.
Yes, and I saw that.
Yeah, we have to work on it. It's just, you know, we want it to be of the level of that music video Hydrovibe did that was on the Saw 3 Director's Cut, which was shot in film. And it's not that we are demanding the best, but we want to provide the best for our fans, you know, and we have to give that up a little bit and say, hey, you know what? So this video is a live video in our studio. Who cares that the background might not be lit perfectly? We just have to do it, you know, and that's where it becomes a curse.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm constantly on YouTube watching different videos and things like that, of course, because what I do, but also because I love it. And I just had a guest last week that basically shot their video for their one song on a wing and a prayer. He did a barbecue in his backyard. He invited his family, his friends, his neighbors. They had the best time, and you could feel that in that video as well as in their song that was in the video. So you don't need the Saw 3 money to do a great video.
Yeah. I agree. I've seen a lot of those videos. I'm like, man, that's awesome. And they'll be getting a lot of views and stuff. And I think, you know, I definitely am first to admit I need some nudging, you know, because it's like usually it's live video. I'm like, I hate it. It's not, it doesn't reproduce, like, you know, even, you know, video of artists that I love, you know. It's cool, but even seeing video of a show that I was at, for example, whenever I was at the show, I thought it was awesome, and it just had this great energy and this feeling, and then I watched the video later, and I'm like, kind of lackluster. You know, it's not the same. So, you know.
Yeah, I think
realize.
if we can just feel your passion in the video, it doesn't matter if you're sitting on 2 tree stumps and strumming your guitar.
Right.
That's all that matters. You know, you don't need the big effects, so.
Yeah, I think I'm listening with hypercritical ears maybe, and I probably should just let that go and maybe just
peel that
off. Never watch
peel
the
that
video.
Off, Matt.
We'll upload it, and I'll never even watch it. Whatever it is, and there it is. Bam. And I could probably do that, actually. I could just never listen to it, put it up there, and be like, cool. We're getting views, cool.
Well, I'm going to send you guys the link to the video I'm talking about, and you'll see exactly what I mean. And then maybe, just maybe, we might get one out of you guys then.
It'll inspire
us, please.
Yeah.
Now, as far as songs, to each of you, which one is closest to your heart?
I think for me, it's Time Slips Away. Yeah, that one's probably the most personal, pulling from all the emotions and all the experiences of living on the road for so many years, you know, with our band and now with this band. You know, it's just, every time I sing it, I feel it. It just really brings me right back into all those moments of just being out on the road. And, you know, it's, and I just personally, if I can brag a bit without sounding terrible, I just think it's a really beautiful song. You
it
know,
is, and that's one of them I'm playing.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm playing that one in Falling again. So go ahead, Matt, your turn.
Oh, good, because I was going to say, I agree with Heather, but I'm going to go with Falling again. Because it is, the question is what's near and dear, and that one is kind of one of our first real, hey, this is Dauzat St.Marie. I think that was one of our first ones that we recorded, and, you know, obviously it's the title track to our EP, so I'm going to go with Falling again.
Good choices, good choices. Now, Matt, describe Heather in 3 words, and then Heather, you have to describe Matt in 3 words.
Okay.
3 words. Holy. Okay, loud. Just say loud. And I should probably explain that so I don't sound like a jerk. She is the loudest singer that I've ever played with. I recently we linked up with Taylor Guitars. Those guys have been super awesome, super helpful. They had to kind of get me. I'm playing a guitar. It's a prototype. It's not even on the market. It's the biggest guitar they make, and it's got some other specifications. And we did that specifically because Heather is so loud that usually when I would play acoustic, if it's just the two of us in a room, I'm playing acoustic guitar and she's singing, you cannot hear the guitar. Literally,
wow.
you cannot hear it. She just moves so much air when she sings, and that's just kind of part of her instrument. You know, she needs to get, once she achieves that volume, that's where her instrument, you know, is at its peak. So, but yeah, Taylor, we actually have gone through and we've picked two guitars that are specifically for Dauzat St.Marie because she is so loud. So that'll be my number one, is loud. Number two, what's number two? This is tough. On the spot here.
It's a very
loud.
Good question, though. I like it.
She
Thank you.
is, I will say, radiant. Anywhere we go, she has the ability to light up a room. And, you know, whenever I speak, a lot of times I'm thinking from producer perspective. I'm thinking, okay,
yeah.
what do I say about this artist? I would say radiant. She can light up a place. It's an it factor, I guess we like to call it. There's an it factor that some people have. She's got the it factor. And I would say persistent, also in a positive way. She is, obviously we have both been able to be persistent in the music industry and all the pitfalls along the way. There's been plenty of hardship stories that we could dwell on, but we do not. She's very persistent and driven. I know that's an extra word, driven. So I got four.
Okay.
I know it's not fair, but just that drive, which is what I believe what it takes to make it in the music business, is that, you know, persistence and drive, and willingness to take whatever comes and keep going. And so that would be Heather St.Marie in a nutshell.
Well,
That's
thank
awesome.
you. I'm blushing.
Those
So
were
Matt
great
Dauzat.
words. Yes, very great words.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, as a band member, you know, Matt is very dependable. And I see that even more now that it's just the two of us, you know, rather than the four of us in Hydra Vibe. But, I mean, night after night after night, no matter what's going on in his life or what's going on with me, I know I can always count on him, you know, on stage and off stage, but especially on stage, which is great because, you know, in order to do what we're doing, there's a level of trust you have to have. You know, you're just throwing yourself out there. And I can take those kind of risks in singing and, you know, whatever else on stage because I know that he's consistent. He's always going to be there. He's always going to have my back, musically, vocally, all of that. You know, he's just very dependable. And I would say hand in hand with that would be loyal. And that's as an artist and as a producer. You know, he gives everything to a project, and I've seen him work with other artists, and I always hope they appreciate what they have in that because he's not one of these. And we've dealt with lots of producers, great ones and terrible ones, and some that were great and terrible. He is one of the great ones. You know, he's going to always give selflessly whatever's the best for that artist and the best for that song, even if it means stepping back from the limelight, even if it means, you know, whatever he needs to do. He's always just going to be absolutely 100% behind you and doing what's best for you. And I guess it also applies to watching him as a, hired gun for other artists, going out on tour with them. And, he's just really treating it as his own thing, and always just giving 100% for it. And then I think last of all, and I'm saying this with some awe there, he's so talented. I mean, I've known him forever, but it just always amazes me when we're in the studio. I mean, because I can sing, but I can't produce. And I love watching him do it because he knows exactly, when I'm doing something and on the microphone, and he'll say, hey, do me a favor, just try this for me, and just trust me on that. And sometimes in the beginning I'd fight him on it, like, really? Well, why? Tell me why. Yeah. And now I'm just kind of like, okay, sure, let's do it, because I've seen it happen, and it's magic. He hears things and senses where things should be, and just these ideas that it just always amazes me. The talent he has is unbelievable.
I feel the love from you guys for each other. I mean, you guys are just perfect together, and I just could not even see you guys playing with anybody else but yourselves, It's just wonderful. And I know you're on Twitter as well as I am right now, and Allison says she's loving it and missing you guys big time. East Coast soon, please. And then adds passionate for Heather, so as one of the words. So that's
great.
Wonderful.
Agreed.
That's wonderful. Now, are you guys going to be doing a tour this year? I'm assuming you are, since you love it so much.
Sure. Absolutely. I guess we're going to be booking. We just got a new booking agency. We're with Artery Global now. That's very recent. And so we're looking at maybe some support slots on other bigger tours, which is kind of the goal. We spent most of 2014 headlining, just going to all the markets that Hyderabad went to, and just showing them what we've been up to, and that was awesome. And we've seen a lot of growth, and it's been rapid growth, but we know that the way to make that even more rapid growth would be to get on some, to get a support slot on a bigger tour. So we're working on that, but we'll see. There's a couple that may be going out. If we don't do that, then we're probably going to do a headlining run across the South in April, May. We usually do that. We try to stay off the road. We stay on the West Coast during the winter months.
Of course.
Just to avoid. Not that we don't love cold. I mean, we actually love cold. We love the snow, but we do not like to drive in any ice or snow conditions at all.
Right.
We did it. Yeah, we did it once on a tour with Hyderabad. 3 bands we were touring with, and 2 of them spun out and ended up in ditches. And
oh my gosh.
We did a little sliding on some black ice, and that was really scary. And so we just never did it again. We said, unless there's like a great opportunity, we just stay home. We stay on the West Coast. It's like 80-something degrees here. And we just let the winter
you had to throw
away.
that in, huh?
It's actually a little depressing, though, because, I love, like, sweater weather or wearing a little hoodie, and you just can't because it's, like, February and tank top weather. I don't like that.
That's what's great, too, like, that we tour, because we both love being in snow, getting a little bit of, and we like to get a little bit of every season. And last year we got every single season. It was awesome. But we've never really, we have a different perspective than you would. We've never lived in that, we've never had to shovel snow every day, So when we are getting into snow, we're like, yes, this is awesome. But, other people are like, oh my God, snow again?
Yeah.
It's a different perspective. But, we usually just stay off the road. We take this time to regroup, write music, record music. I'm working with other artists. Heather is, keeping on top of all our websites, redesigning our website and all that stuff. And then we launch back out, and we do our first run of the year is usually right across the South, just to, ensure that we don't get into any kind of winter crap. And then we go to Midwest and East Coast and North. That's right, Allison. I said East Coast.
Yeah.
So we do that after.
You mean you don't want to go
plan.
to Boston with their 79 inches of snow right now?
Absolutely
I know.
not. I would love to go there and be in that. I don't want to drive to get to
No, I don't think you could.
No.
We need to redo.
Done, you know,
we need to redo on Boston pretty badly because last time we toured through there, Heather and I were deathly ill, and it was snowing, and we had to walk. I don't know how far did we walk, Heather, to go to Boston Medical.
Yeah.
That was horrible. It's so horrible to be sick on tour, but then have to walk through the freezing cold, and it's snowing. And
but I have
Boston
to say,
Medical.
Boston must be pretty amazing because we both found out we had laryngitis, bronchitis, and it was going into pneumonia because we had been sick for so long. And despite all that, walking to the urgent care in the snow, I was looking around like, I want to die.
Beautiful.
Boy, this is a beautiful city. So it must be amazing because for me to notice how beautiful it was that sick, that's why I want to redo it. You know, we have to give Boston a better chance here.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have to remedy that.
Definitely. Well, for any of our listeners that are not familiar with you guys, how do they find you?
Okay, well, I know it's difficult to spell. I'll say it real slow for everybody, our last names, but we have a website. That's the best place to go for everything, and that's DauzatSt.Marie.com, DauzatStMarie.com. And from there, you'll see we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, just all over the social networks. And pretty much they're all Dauzat St.Marie is the username. So if you just look for us, you know, you'll find us. But we check all the emails. It takes a little while to get back, but we do it all ourselves. So we, you know, hit us up, keep in touch with us. We love to hear from our fans. They really do become our friends. You know, our families all on the road.
Right, definitely. And your music, I'm assuming, is on iTunes, Amazon, wherever else you can digitally download it?
Yes, exactly.
It will be,
it will be Tuesday.
The release is Tuesday,
Yep, and then I'm building the store right now, like Matt mentioned. That's my day job, web design. So I'm building the store right now. Yeah, so we're going to have physical CDs and T-shirts on our site available, and our newsletter subscribers are going to get early chances and probably a special little coupon code to save a little money just for being loyal. And if you want to get on the newsletter, go to the website, sign up, and you get a free song download that's not available anywhere else, only on the newsletter. So, you know, check that welcome email when you get it, and there's a link right there to click to download.
Well, I absolutely love talking with you guys. I mean, you are wonderful not only musically but to speak with as very down-to-earth people. And like I said, I feel the love, and that's one of the biggest things that you guys need, or any band or solo artist, when they are going out. I mean, it's just, and putting their music out there, the love, the passion, everything that goes with it. And you guys got it all.
Thank you very much. This has been a great interview. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much. And you guys are welcome back anytime. If you make it to Chicago, let me know. Otherwise, I'll try to keep up with going on your website to find out, because I want to see you guys in concert.
We will definitely come to Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll hit you up if there's any venues that you would suggest that would be good for a singer-songwriter duo. We'll definitely go.
I'll have to check that out. I mean, there's a lot of clubs downtown that have music. I'm not sure. It seems like live music is starting to die away in clubs, and it's more of, you know, the DJs and things like that. As a matter of fact, my son is a DJ. I guess it's good that he's got a job, but there's nothing like a live concert. So
we've seen it. And we saw it decline, even touring with Hyderabad. That's where we started to see it decline a bit. You know, it's kind of, things are changing. I mean, things evolve, and trends come and go. I'm not terribly concerned about it. I mean, how can you replace live music? I mean,
you can't.
I think there's a lot of distractions for kids. That that maybe there's a lot more distractions than, say, when we were kids,
Right.
But you can't really replace the live show. People are going to come out. I mean, that's, for our fans, that's the best way always to experience Dauzat St.Marie would be at a live show.
Mm-hmm.
We always do the absolute best we can with recording, but it's a different dynamic live. Things happen, and there's a different energy, and you got to come to a live show.
You got to see how loud I am in person.
I know that. That's definitely one thing I've got to check out.
Yeah.
Right. The last time we played Chicago was with Hydra Vibe. Was it the Elbow Room? Is that?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Elbow
cool.
Room is there. Yeah, that's in Chicago.
Definitely cool. One thing that we noticed about the scene is people would go to see, probably their friend's band or whatever band they would go to see that band, and then they would leave and not see the other bands. And that's usually, when we see that is one of the first signs of decline of a scene. Like anywhere we've gone in the U.S., whenever we play shows, Hydra Vibe, Dauzat St.Marie, you will find us in the front row supporting every single act that we can before and or after us, just as a show of support. And it kind of shows our fans, I guess gives an example, right? You kind of hope to lead by example. We would be horrified if our fans came only to see us and then left and didn't support other acts. That we definitely preach. Sometimes we are kind of preachy, but that's one of the things we really promote. You got to support the other acts and the whatever arts, and it makes a huge difference. So usually, like I was saying, when we see that, when people just don't stick around, they only come to see the one band, they don't stick around to see the other bands. Well, how are you going to? You already paid entry. You might find your next new favorite band. Just stick around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we did notice that. I mean, you said that it's in a little bit of a state of decline there. But I mean, these things, scenes pop up. We've seen little weird pockets in random somewhere USA where all of a sudden there's this awesome music scene, and it blows up, and then it somehow hits a wall and just shrinks again, and then it pops up again somewhere else, and these things come and go. And I don't think it's too much to be concerned about.
I don't think so either. I think that, as you said, things come and go, but they always come back. And I think that's always going to be that way with music, because you're going to have people like myself that are huge fans. And if I had the money to open a live venue, believe me, I would do it in a second flat. I mean, if you've been to as many concerts as I have, or even if you've only been to one, you can tell how much better it is to see your favorite playing right there in front of you.
Right. Yeah. You have a point of reference,
and
a different appreciation than some others. It's just that you have a different background in history, It's interesting.
Right.
It's all interesting. I don't remember who said it. Was it Bowie that said that, in so many years the music is going to become a folk art again? And here we are. Right?
Yeah.
Heather and
happening.
We packed up and we're traveling troubadours. We just go out and we, with an acoustic guitar, and we play our songs as it's kind of a folk art. So maybe it's upon us. We absolutely love it, and we're having a lot of fun, so no complaints. But, the scaling down of everything, because this is different, with the bands, it was a bigger operation. You might have a crew and definitely van and trailer, if not bigger. So you got to get, a certain size venue. There's got to be a certain number of people there for the money to make sense, or at least break even.
Right.
So we're scaled all the way down. We literally, when we saw that we were going to be on tour for a year, we're like, man, that's going to be tough in our van. So we actually bought a Ford Fusion hybrid, and everything fits perfectly. So we just scaled down. That thing is 48 miles to the gallon. So
oh my gosh!
The big fuel expenses of a touring act, we took that out of the equation, which was the significant factor. The others would be hotels, but we're very fortunate since we've toured so much that we know somebody in every town who's got probably a guest bedroom or whatever. We can crash places. We get hotels, here and there. But those are the significant factors of touring. So now we just kind of eliminated that, and we're a two-person operation for the time being. On any of our headlining runs, we want to continue to be just two-person operation for now. That's not feasible. If we get on a bigger tour, we're probably going to need to get, then we'll have to get a bigger vehicle, we'll have to get some amount of crew. But, for now, we scaled it down, and it works perfectly.
Well, it sounds like you have everything put together and know what you're doing. So I'm going to be waiting here in the summertime in Chicago, waiting for you to come play, and I will be there.
And we're going to go get a slice, and it's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks again, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play your two songs for our listeners now, and as I said, you're welcome back anytime. Keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. All right.
Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, first song up is going to be Falling Again.
I'm so worn out. These scenes keep repeating in my mind. Where are you tonight? And do you wish we could just rewind to better times when our characters were new and our stories intertwined?
and that was Falling Again by Dauzat St.Marie. And the other song I'm going to play is called Time Slips Away.
When wheels hit the open road, time slips away, driving to life unknown. Time slips away, with 2,000 miles to go. Time slips away. So turn up that radio. Time slips away, and I never knew what freedom was until I drove to California. Time slips away. We're so far from those places and those songs of yesterday. Time slips away, and the players keep changing, but the song remains the same. Time slips away. When the spotlight shines on my face, time slips away. When I'm lost in a melody, time slips away. There's no place I'd rather be. Time slips away. Time just slips away. And I never knew what true love was until I touched down in Virginia. Time slips away. We're so far from those places and those songs of yesterday. Time slips away, and the players keep changing, but the song remains the same. Time slips away. Until I woke up in New Orleans. Time slips away. We're so far from those places and those songs of yesterday. Time slips away. And the players keep changing, but the song remains the same. Time slips away, yeah. Far from those places and those songs of yesterday. Time slips away.
Love it. And don't forget to pick up the EP, Falling Again, next week when it becomes available. And if you are in the LA area and can make it out to the Hotel Cafe on February 13th, 10 p.m., be sure to go see them live because you're going to love every single minute of it. And thankfully, they are going to include Chicago sometime in the near future. So I will be there with bells on and rings on and yelling and and supporting. So, again, their website, Dauzat St.Marie, is spelled DAUZATSTMARIE. Follow them on Twitter at the same name, and you can find them on Facebook as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the show. I want to thank everybody who joined me. Thanks again to Heather and Matt and Yvonne. And we'll see you again on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for another hour of indie music from around the world. And take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe and warm.
Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music. Or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit TakeTwoRadioMusic.com.